I'm at the Great Geauga County Fair doing an old-timey act, and
all right, good for you.
And I've got my tool chest here, and my 18th century toolbox and various things around here, my workbench, and we'll be doing this for 5 days. We opened in about 3 minutes.
And you got your wooden teeth in too?
Yeah, and I've got my, I have reenactment shoes, which are straight lasted, and they're neither left nor right, and painful to wear if you have a huge bunion on your right foot like I do. So I'm
are you going to be with us during, with the fair for a little bit, or are you going to just check in and say hi? What's up with you?
I'm just popping in to say hi because we open and it's always a crowd rushes in.
Well, do you want to have a camera on that for a few minutes when the crowd rushes in? We'll be all right with that.
Yeah. It's we're 1 minute from starting, so they'll open the doors soon. But at any rate,
it's 1 minute from starting too. So there you go.
And my wife Susan is here, and she's doing old-timey weaving here. And this is her booth.
Good morning, Susan.
And hello. And there's her Glamocra loom set up. She'll be weaving, and her friend will be spinning over there, explaining flax, spinning of flax.
Bobbing, weaving, spinning.
And we have a potter. We have some rug hookers here. We have a glass blower over there. So it's called the Heritage Building. And for Kai, my hoot, my hat, Dreiecken, my hoot, my hat. It has 3 corners. 3 corners has my hat. And it's a totally impractical hat. It does keep your head warm, but doesn't keep the sun out of your eyes in any way, shape, or form.
Keeps the rain off, though.
Nice hat.
It's
that's a good beginning for the show, to do that little line from him.
Absolutely. And it's 10 o'clock. It's Lancaster Woodturners Weekly Coffee Hour number 268. And I'm hoping my neighbor will finish his mowing in the next minute or two, because she's probably on the soundtrack over there. With the loudest mower in Christendom, I might add. I don't know why he has such a loud.
John, we're not hearing it. Zoom's taking care of that noise.
Perfect. I like that. And I'm out on the deck because the dancing girls are still in the living room. And it's a beautiful, beautiful morning here in Lancaster. My name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator today. And I'm going to put my email on the screen. If anybody would like to join this thing, that you pick it up on YouTube and you want to be on our list, let me know. We are on the crest of 1,000 subscribers, or I am, on my channel. I got 999 subscribers the other day. Let's see, the Club News. Let's go to Club News. What do we got from Club News? What's happening with Lancaster? Ziegler, are you there?
I'm on my cell phone. I hope you guys can hear me. My Amish friends are raising hell outside with a skid steer, and so I'll make it brief. We have Trent Bosch coming up this coming Tuesday for a hollowing demonstration, not using his hollowing jig, but just regular hollowing tools, so that our mere mortals can figure out how to use hollowing tools. And then I think we're almost set for the Lancaster Music Fest on the 6th. David Lewis and I met the other day. He lives across from Buchanan Park, which is helpful to get his 1221 jet across the street. And I think we have 4 or 5 prospective volunteers to help move stuff and to demonstrate simple wood turning. And then we're going to set up some stuff to kind of advertise the club. I'm going to grab some of those flyers that you and Barry made for the Amtrak station.
That's what we made them for, so you can use them for wherever you want to.
Yep. So that should be good. And I think that covers Lancaster.
Now, what day is that? The 6th, 7th?
The 6th. I think it goes from 12 to 6, but we're probably not going to be turning or setting. We're going to set up beforehand, and then, depending upon how it happens, we'll be turning probably between 1 or 2 o'clock and then 6 o'clock, and then break everything down. If it's inclement weather, we're not, because we don't want to be moving precious lathe equipment in the rain.
And wood, you have enough wood?
I have to get some wood.
Hey, what are you looking for?
Well, probably primarily spindles or tiny bowl blanks, just to keep it simple.
Well, you want to raid my stash? I'm happy to spin off a few boxes of wood anytime. I got some
Well,
wood here.
okay. Well, maybe next week, John, we can catch up, like we talked about doing anyhow, to talk about shop videos. Because David Lewis has, I told you, a little corner of his garage. It's like 6 by 12, and he's got a lathe. He's got his grinder. He's got a wall of tools, and he's got a shelf with some wood in it, and it's spick and span. It looks like a hospital ward. It is like he's got an epoxy garage floor, and it is spotless. There wasn't a shred of dust anywhere.
One of his neighbors over there, a fellow I also met, whose name I've lost, is a restoration specialist for old cabins and buildings in the area, and he has taught that stuff. I think he's retired now. I'd like to try and get him on sometime too. Interesting guy.
Hey, I might need him because I need to replace our balcony here on our log cabin.
Your log cabin is not a historic log cabin.
Well, not yet.
It's around. Any other
Zig,
club?
yes, Zig, did you say that Trent Bosch is going to be at Lancaster on Tuesday?
No, it's a IRD.
Oh, because I have him also down for the Delaware Club on Wednesday. I thought
IRD.
maybe.
No.
So okay. Well, all right.
From your point of view, since you're not going to attend either one in person, what's the difference?
That's right. I'm gonna have to choose which one I go to now.
Yeah, or both.
John, I've got a whole bunch of pen blanks or finial blanks that you can have for turning demonstration if you want to as well. You can do whatever you want with them.
I'll get some blanks together for making tops and eggs size, like two by 4, 2 by 2 by 4 sorts of things.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was gonna
that's
say,
great.
I usually do spin tops on them over there. I'm going over there Saturday.
That's great.
It sounds like everybody's going to have a good time with that one.
Thank you all.
And when is open shop, John? Oh, you're still there.
Up is the second Saturday. I think the date is
the 13th.
13th. Yeah.
So that's a whole lot of Lancaster events in 2 weeks. I love that.
Yeah. Not to mention
Well,
the symposium coming up.
That's where we're coming to next. Yep.
Hi, John.
Randy?
The Susquehanna Club is having their meeting on the 9th. And the topic of the meeting will be mixed media.
And who's going to lead that discussion?
I'm not sure. It's going to be bring in your mixed media items and be prepared to discuss how you did it and if you had any problems, how you resolved them.
Oh,
And we may actually also have some discussions on sharpening tools if we have enough time.
very cool. Okay. Any other local club news?
Yeah, next Wednesday, the Nittany Valley Woodturners will have their regular scheduled meeting. Our topic is going to be show us what you did this summer, show us what you turned this summer. And everybody brings in all their stuff, new tools, new techniques, all the items that they've turned. And we also have a quick demonstration on turning tops. What we found out at our last meeting is, well, I'll give you a little background. When we go to state parks to do demos, we like to give away tops, just like just about everybody does when they demo. Well, we found out we had a lot of new turners who don't know how to turn tops.
Oh.
And yeah, so we just decided that we would just give a 15-minute to a half-hour demonstration before our main event, show and tell, so that people would learn how to do tops.
Will that be with a skew or with a gouge or with a both or with something else?
Well, the person we have doing, his name is Dan Kozar. He's really good with the skew, but I'm sure he'll cover other things too.
I learned a lot watching that fellow from the Northwest, gosh, I've lost the name, turn tops with a skew. Very, very helpful demo.
Wyoming Woodturner or whatever.
No, the guy from the Pacific Northwest, the exercise.
Eric Lofton.
No, still another guy. We had him at the symposium, and yeah.
I watched Alan Lacer use must have been a 2.5 inch wide skew, turn a top was about a ½ inch diameter.
Yeah, well, that's Alan
demonstration.
Lacer could turn a coffee cup with a 2 inch wide skew. Alan Lacer can turn anything with that skew.
Well,
Any other
last,
club
oh, go ahead. At last state park we went to, we gave out 40 tops, which was kind of nice.
Kind of nice, very nice.
Yep.
I'm seeing 44 on screen right now, and they're still clicking in. Mid-Atlantic. Anybody want to tell us about Mid-Atlantic? Current Mid-Atlantic stuff? Need for videographers, Ron? Or you got it covered?
I have 6 people on videographer. 5 people, I guess. 4 of them are doing 6 rotations. Some of them would like to have a few less than that. So if I had another 1 or 2 people doing videography, it'd be with a lot of help. Anybody's interested. And it's not difficult to learn. If you're there Friday evening, we have a quick demo on how to do it. You can learn pretty quick.
It's fun too.
Ron, you can put my name down for that if you want to.
All right,
It's
I'll do
Doug.
And if you do 3, you get half off your registration. So how about that?
that. Yeah.
Okay. Any other clubs? Baltimore? What's up? Oh, go ahead, Doug.
So I was just going to say, this week is Friday is the last day for early registration for the Mid-Atlantic Turners Symposium. So if you want a discount, it's getting close to the end of when you can get it.
I registered yesterday or the day before. Yep.
So in Baltimore, we have, I call it open turning, but we really do limit it to club members on Saturday at Woodcraft Timonium. And we try and balance our mentors with our club members, which is why we kind of ask for the club members to tell us who's coming. And then our regular meetings are always the second Wednesday of the month. And this month we're going to have a club member demonstrate a natural edge bowl. And then we're all going to head to Lancaster.
We'll see you all there. we finally get to see what people actually look like as opposed to heads in boxes, you know.
Isn't that the truth?
I was very surprised by how tall you are, Bruce. But that's maybe I'm a lot shorter than I used to be too. So
We all are.
Any other club stuff? Edmonton, how about you guys? You're not local to us, but you're part of this group. Bert? No.
I don't know what happened. It looks like you went for coffee.
Oh, okay.
We don't have anything going yet. Not until next month to get started on our first meeting for the year.
Okay. Well, then we're going to go to the hands and look at some work. I don't have any work to show you today, so I'm going to count on you guys to bring entertaining things for the hour. Bowman got bumped off last week, so we're going to start with Bowman. What do you got, Jim?
I got something to share.
Good.
I went to a friend's house and I happened to walk around his barn and saw a stack of firewood. It happened to be a walnut, believe it or not. And I found a square piece halfway down the pile, which meant I had to restack the pile when I removed it. And I turned a vase out of it, and that's what I want to show. And I swear, this time I think I got the sharing right. So we shall see, now that I'm bragging, whether I do or not.
You're Mr. Videotech. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't even know how to make it large, right? So, I have been playing. Stuart last week or the week before showed burning, and obviously I had this thing. This is 3 views of it, so you can see what the grain pattern was like. I grabbed my cup cutters, my particular kind. Mine are apparently different than the ones he uses. I don't think I could burn mine down into a black ball. I just think they would not go. Anyways, I prefer it this way. So I did this around this, and it was great fun. I think it added to it.
How big is that? 1 piece or 3 pieces?
That's 1 piece. just showing you three different sides. It's my way of showing you all the way around a thing. It's one piece.
Why wouldn't you make three pieces? I mean, with that walnut, like looks like pretty nice.
I
walnut.
had.
Just
It
saying.
is beautiful. I had one piece this size, and it was taken off of a fire pile, and this was the only one that fit what I thought. I got 11 by 3 inches out. It had a little checking from either end, which made it shorter to start with. But yeah, that was my fun, and I'm pleased that somebody, I think it was Sherry, brought up these cup cutter ideas to us. I'm having fun with it. Thank you. Yeah. Now I'll gotta stop this thing. So.
Okay, questions and comments. Anybody?
Yeah, this is John. Did you turn that with the pith in that wood, or?
No, this wood came from the side actually. The one side is almost, well, it's right where it goes to the sapwood. It's not solid walnut, black walnut all the way through. It goes a little bit light on one side. The pith is definitely off when they split it. The pith is not in that block. So
okay.
Ernie, are you still on screen? No, I think he's gone. Ernie's at the Ohio State Fair in Geauga, and he's set up for demonstrating 18th century woodworking with his tricorn hat. He was on for a minute earlier just to say hi. Any of y'all, all y'all down on this screen, I'm looking at the whole gallery view, who would like to show stuff and haven't shown us stuff lately or are new to this, you're perfectly welcome. And today's your good day because I don't see a big queue of people. I do have a topic that we can get to if we run out of stuff to look at, but I got 2 more hands here. So you're done, Bowman, right?
Yeah, I have not been turning much because I'm having a recovering wife at home. So,
and because summertime as well. I hope your wife's okay. She's doing all right?
She's doing great. It's slow grow when you got to fix up a spinal column. So the nerves take a long time to recover. No, she's doing well.
But you're not 20 anymore, too.
Oh, geez, don't remind me of that because I'm feeling it. So.
Okay, Mr. Doug, what would you like to talk about today?
Oh, Doug, before you start, may I add one statement? When I called my son the other day to wish him a good birthday, he said to me, "Dad, I'm only 1/53rd older than I was last year." And I said, "Wait a minute, I like that formula. So I'm only 1/78th older than I was last year." As you get older, it gets slower. I just had to share that with all you old folks. So.
Pretty good point of view. Yeah.
So,
okay, Doug.
Yeah.
Doug Reesor.
Yeah, I've been working on magic tricks that like Angelo Iafrate makes, and trying to get the idea behind them. And one of the ones that he makes is this one where you have a ball that splits in half, and then the magic trick pushes them back together.
I'm not quite seeing it. Where you see.
Sorry, the magic.
Yeah, there you go.
The magic trick pushes it back together like that.
Yeah.
So I watched the video that John Kelsey made with Angelo showing him how to make one of these spheres. As is usual, Angelo told you everything but told you nothing in that sphere, because the difficulty, what he didn't really focus on, he's turning away, and what he didn't really focus on is how precise you have to get in your turning when you're doing that. And one of the other part is that if you take this ball in half, it's now a 1/16 of an inch, and if you try and put a jam chuck on it, if you put it in your regular chuck, he's just putting in his Vic Bond chuck and going like this and clamping it, a little bit of sliding. That is delicate, guys, and it's really hard to get a good clamp on it. So I asked my wife a while ago for a 3D printer so I could actually do what my intention was, and I started this week of making jam chucks. And it struck to me that, I know that not everybody has a 3D printer, but this morning it was striking me that if I make that in the jam chuck, it doesn't hold on a regular chuck. If I don't have this slot on the top, So if I actually put that slot in the top, when I put it into my chuck and squeeze it, it really holds very, very tightly. And I was thinking this morning, is it possible to actually do the same thing with a wooden jam chuck if you wanted to? If you make yourself a wooden jam chuck with a hole in the middle, then take your bandsaw, just make a slice in it. That's all it takes to make that from a loose.
I can tell you for sure that works, because that's how I do it, and I made a number of those that way.
Okay, I figured you did, John. I figured somebody would do it, but that's just my little thing of the day. So this is, and I made them out of my plastic because that way I have one for various sizes. I want to make be able to replicate the same size, and also making cutting these things out of plastic or whatever card is all very well and good, but unless you're a really good cutter and you have really good plastic, and I've done about 1,000 of them, like John has done or Angelo has done. Making them with the 3D printer is a little bit easier.
So yeah, that's your template for the inside, right?
Yeah, template for the inside. I got a template for the outside. I can make any size. I can change the diameter in a minute, just make another one, and they're all there. So anyway, I just wanted to pass along this idea of the jam chucks, because it's it really looks.
What 3D printer are you using?
I have an Iglo Neptune 4 Pro.
And what is the plastic material, and how hard is it to set up?
It's PLA. The software sets everything up for the plastic material. This is probably most of the fundamental print, and I think Bert can tell you that this is really a dead easy print to do. It's PLA material, and I haven't really tried anything else, but this is sufficient. I'm just still messing around with it as far as that's concerned. I'm also trying to get to the point where I can make templates for chess pieces and stuff like that. I know you can do them on paper, and but the other part is that the CAD programs that I'm looking at, one of the advantages of using CAD programs, if you guys are into it, is that once you make the program correct or your drawing correct, you can manipulate all sorts of dimensions and then pull it back to 3D and to stand back and take a look at it and decide whether you like it or not, instead of drawing it and redrawing it and cutting it back and forth. And then once you've cut a pattern you like, you can just print out that sort of pattern for your lathe. Anyway,
how long does it take the 3D printer to make that?
This 20 minutes.
Okay.
25 minutes.
Was that an expensive 3D printer?
I think it was $250, maybe $300. It was one of the lower line ones. I'll post what it is in the chat, but it's not an expensive one. It's an 8x8 or surface or something on that line. So it's one of the cheaper ones. It's quite a small one, but yeah, they're fun for
I like making templates with that. That's a beautiful idea, because you can never quite get them exact when you make them out of paper or wood.
Well, and that was agreed.
That's cool. Yeah.
But part of the fun is coping with them not quite exact in paper or wood. You know, I make them using artists' watercolor aquarelle paper, which is very stiff and holds and yet you can sand the edge just a little bit. You know, it's kind of okay.
Well, I agree with you to a certain degree, John, but I want my fun to be making these and not these. So,
it's all the same. It's all the same, Doug.
I agree with you. Whether you use paper or whatever you make them, it's like whatever. But I was just finding I couldn't make it precise enough for what I wanted for these, for the tolerances that you need for making these shells. So this is a 1/16 of an inch, and you know it doesn't take a whole lot of being off before you're through the side of it. So, and that can be frustrating, and it's a learning experience. So my next project, and I'll probably bring it to me, as I want you know Matryoshka nesting dolls.
No.
Well, I'm gonna make a series of nesting balls instead of a nesting doll. So I want to see if I can go down and make one every 1/4 inch diameter. What? Yeah.
How long is it going to be until you're making those out of the 3D printer instead of on a lathe with wood?
I'm not going to do that, John. I have tried making a sphere out of a 3D printer.
You've tried it already.
And it takes no time to do it. You can do whatever, but it doesn't quite feel the same. You know, I didn't buy the 3D printer for that purpose. Put it that way.
I did find that you can do those spheres pretty well with jam chuck. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of care. You start with a clean block of mahogany or something like that, and take a little care, and you can do it. It works pretty well.
Yeah, but I'm sure you did. But the important part is you have to have a jam chuck that you're grabbing the outside of the sphere and not putting the inside. If you try and do a jam chuck to the inside, it'll just bust everything. Yep. So and to me,
is there any off gassing when you're doing that?
No, I don't smell anything. I'm sitting right beside the printer all the time. I don't really smell anything. Bert can probably talk to it better than I can. You do a lot of 3D printing, don't you, Bert?
Oh, I don't do a lot of it, but I do have a 3D printer, and it's been really, really handy for making, like you say, just making specialty tools and stuff. It's just handy to have.
But there's a big investment in learning the software, isn't there?
Time more than anything.
Well, that's the big investment I'm talking about. Yeah.
I use FreeCAD software, so and you're right, it takes something. I'm like John, though. I discovered that if I actually went on to YouTube and paid attention to their lessons that they have on there, it went a lot faster.
And there are so many things on Thingiverse and printables, and if you've thought of it, somebody else has already done it, so you can just download the STL and try printing it yourself and modifying, so you don't have to learn much.
Well, and that's why I bought it for these things, because these are the things that aren't necessarily available as much on Thingiverse, as you might say, and I can change the dimensions very, very quickly and get a bunch of different dimensions to do it. So even with chess pieces, if you decide on a pattern and you say, well, this is too short, it needs to be overall, it'll explode the whole pattern proportionally, so you can just really quickly move it up and down.
Well, so there's a real simple modifying tool called Tinkercad. So if you find something on Thingiverse, you load it into Tinkercad, and it lets you do exactly what you said, put in different dimensions and stuff fairly simply. You don't have to learn a full AutoCAD to work with it, but yeah, to each his own.
Well, it sounds like this is all PC stuff as well. I don't know, is it equally available on Macs?
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
What's the CAD program you're using, Doug?
FreeCAD. FreeCAD.
Yep, because I'm more fascinated with that, not for 3D printing, but instead, I can't sketch worth a squat. Maybe I could draw my stuff in the CAD and then look at it instead of trying to sketch it. So
there you're going to be, okay, let me know how that goes and how much time it takes away from the lathe.
Well, I'm fascinated with CAD programs anyways. I used to videotape guys doing it, and I always found it fascinating. So the learning would be worth it. So
yeah, I think it sounds like fun.
I agree with you, John, and there's another part of this whole process. The reason I got into this is because I was getting frustrated on the lathe with these shells. And, and the problem is that most stuff on the lathe doesn't need to be that precise. And so to me, that's where I was looking at these shells, is just because that has to be a very precise thing to fit inside another one, just to a slight jam fit, so it fits everything correctly. So I'm measuring these things to 1/100th of an inch, So if you take a look at
but that
16th of an inch,
that's not that difficult with jam chuck, jam chucks, if you just get at it and do it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you, John.
I also agree that what you're doing is a lot of fun. So not
so
take away from it at all.
No.
You don't have to have a 3D printer to do it. Is all.
That's what I was trying to say as well. Is this doesn't have? It was more this idea of this slot for jam chucks to make it so that if in the last connection, when you're down within 1/1000th of an inch or 2/1000th of an inch, and you're going there, and then all of a sudden, this frustration part of these things is you take one extra cut and it starts to spin on you, and now it suddenly becomes another just nice piece of wood to throw in the fireplace.
Yep.
Well,
it won't even
that's where that's where cutting a hole in it and putting a slot in it will actually make it so you can bring that slot down just ever so slightly for critical dimensions. And I had not thought about that before.
What's what in millimeters? What is 1/100th of an inch?
Oh, it's
Very,
half a mil.
40,000. Four thousandths of an inch is a 4 thousandths of an inch is a millimeter.
Okay. Just wondered. I was
So
trying
25.4. No. Yeah, I forget.
Is a millimeter.
400th of an inch. I'm thinking of microns.
Yeah.
So sorry. So a millimeter is 1,000. Yeah, 400ths of an inch is a millimeter.
Which is a 25th.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Any more on that?
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Doug. Good points. Anybody else? Okay. I'm going to talk to Mike Peace now. Mike?
Okay. We've had a lot of discussion about multi-axis turning, so I thought I would turn a multi-axis handle. So it has 3 lobes on it. So what I did was I used a stem center to rough it round, so it gave me about a 3/8 inch little set of dots, and I just by eye divided that into 3 parts, and I put that on the tailstock end, so I guess you could see it better like that, to do the turning, so I get the maximum movement here. And it turned out interesting, nice 3 lobes, and then I got funky with the die and highlighted the lobes with a little different color. I'm using it was a prototype, and then they haven't quite got on the market yet, a handle insert. That's why I made this handle. That's from Carter & Son. I think they demonstrated it at SWAT, but it's not on their website yet.
So it's the 3 lobe thing there that you're talking about.
Yeah.
No. Okay, now you just eyeballed the 3 centers, right?
Yeah, I just eyeballed 3 centers. So the front end was stationary. It didn't really. It was centered. It didn't move. And then the back end.
Which end was in the headstock?
This was the headstock.
Right.
And so you get your maximum movement the further away you get from the headstock. So with 3 dots, it gave me 3 lobes, and then I had to kind of stop and evaluate how deep I was going. I didn't get real scientific, so they're not perfect, but you can just measure them with calipers and decide if you've gone too far or not far enough. But it was fun, and it gives you a little different feel on the handle because you can feel that flat. So in this case, when I put in the handle insert, I oriented it with a flat in line with the insert, so I could always recognize, what the feel was in terms of the orientation of the tool.
And what kind of tool is in there?
This is a Carter & Son tool handle insert. It's a new product that they've got. It's not, they demonstrated it at SWAT, but it's not on their website yet. I think they're going to release it in mid-September.
But what's the tool? What's the cutting bit? What's the
the actual tool is a spear point scraper.
And what are you using that for?
You can use it for several things. It's large. You can make V grooves, but also you can use it as a shear scraper, and you can go in either direction because you've got 2 sides as opposed to a single edge spear scraper. The main reason for being, I think, on this tool is so you can get into a corner very carefully. You just got to make sure you're only cutting on one side at a time, because if you get 2 sides cutting, you're going to get a severe catch.
It looks to me like the bottom of the keel down there, that bottom edge is going to get caught in your corner as well.
I'm not sure.
It seems to at the very point, the bottom now down to the bottom surface.
The heel.
Not so much. At least that hadn't been my experience. I've got a bit of a secondary bevel, but not much.
Yeah, I would be for taking more of that off myself in that situation, because I've had experience where that louses up the cut you're trying to make with the very tip way down in a tight spot.
Yeah. There's something to be said for micro bevels removing things on scrapers as well as bowl gouges, because it also makes sharpening a lot faster because you're not grinding away as much steel. When you're in a hurry, of course, you're still going to grind away that bevel, so total time sharpening might be the same, but you can quickly touch it up if there's not as much steel back here. So that's a good point. I haven't found a need to it yet, but I'll keep that in mind if I get in trouble.
No, you're prototyping that for Carter and Sons.
No, I already did. This is their final version. They sent me a prototype. The interesting thing about it was instead of having a ferrule, because this extends so far out, we know most tools have a ferrule for safety in case the tool handle fails. And this goes, so what they did is they've recessed this. So the handle goes inside there and the adapter acts as a ferrule, which I thought was, I told them I thought they needed a ferrule because it was so much extending and they needed a little longer tang, and they figured out that they could make the larger tang and eliminate the need for a ferrule by having a recess in here, which I thought was just a great. It's great for people that like Carter and Son adaptability and changing and all, but they're not real keen on the aluminum baseball bat handles.
Now roll that over so we can see the set screws now. One of them, they both are holding the tool bit, right?
Yes, they go through. And it's got a 3/4 inch bore because this mimics their standard handle. Let me just grab it. Yeah, so here's a standard handle. It's got a little vet wrap on it, but so it's the same. It's basically the same design. So it uses the same adapters because they've got a 3/4 inch bore. So they've got 3/4 inch shank tools. Then they've got an adapter for 5/8 inch, 3/8 inch, and a 1/2 inch. And they're just a piston fit. And this goes through the adapter and touches the tool.
And at the other end, the wood, where the wood gets in there, where the wood gets into the metal, you got a shoulder and a tenon is what's going on?
Yeah, let me, I've got the prototype, I think. Let me see if I can quickly grab it. Yeah.
Sorry to ask you all these hard questions, but
no, that's all right. Here was the prototype they came up with, and you could see they didn't have, the shank wasn't long enough, so it'd be too much leverage. And I said, no, you need to bring the shank back, and you also need to consider having a ferrule. And so what they did, they brought the shank back, but they recessed it in here, so you can cut a recess on the end of your tool handle. And then this actually slips over that recess and acts as a ferrule.
All right, but is there a hole bored in the tool handle?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
you got to have
the tool handle has a hole in it and a shoulder. 5/8
inch shank here to go in a 5/8 inch hole. The actual adapter itself will accommodate a 3/4 inch tool, and this hole, interior hole, is 3 inches deep.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
On the other end, by the way, that handle is awesome. I think they should start selling them with them. You can make them at $100 a week or something, you know. Hey, at that end, how far away from center were you?
That's a good question. About 1/4 inch. You do not want to go very far. And like I say, I used the dots that were left by the Sorby Stem Center and placed the different axes on those dots. And you can see where the dots are, I think. I put this up against the belt sander, but you can see the dots. They're not far.
Yeah, we had them.
I asked because that's always a determiner how much your three sides are apart, you know. And
it also governs how large the wood needs to be. If you start off with a normal handle blank, let's say you want your typical handle, the widest part is like 1 3/8, because you got a small hand. You've got to make this bigger, because once you start making those lobes, you reduce the size. So you need, maybe, depending on how large the lobes are, maybe 1 3/4 inch blank or a 2 inch blank if you got big hands and you want bigger lobes and you got a longer handle.
Well, you've got those 3 centers like on an equilateral triangle, right?
Yes, exactly.
What if it's not an equilateral triangle? What if it's
you're going to get instead of 3 equal lobes, if you take the same amount of wood off each side, you're going to get 2 larger lobes and 1 short lobe, which might work if that's the feel you're going for. It's just something that I thought I'd play with since I was gonna make a handle with this insert. I figured I might as well play with it and do something a little different.
Well, let's talk about that for a second too. The insert tool strategy there. Do you like that strategy? I mean, it seems to me
I love it. you know, I've made a lot of tool handles and I use a lot of epoxy glue and they all work great. But what I've discovered after using Carter & Son tools, where I started getting a bunch of their tools, it is very nice. The larger the tool, the handle is, the nicer it is to be able to remove it for sharpening. I've got a video coming out in September on this project, but trying to get this in front of your body using a Varigrind is a real challenge with a long handle. And it doesn't take long at all to remove those set screws. It only takes seconds. So I like removing them for sharpening the larger tools with larger handles.
Do those set screws, are they the same Allen wrench with a blue end on it that you would have in a chuck for removing the chuck screws?
Let me check.
Because, I mean, that would be helpful. The number of wretched little Allen wrenches around the shop.
Yes. It's the same as the one on my Record Power and Nova. I can't speak to other chucks, but the Record Power, Nova, and Robert Sorby Patriot chuck, yeah, it'd be the same.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of people standardizing that kind of stuff rather than everybody going their own way. And so we got torque screws and we got big, you know, too much. Yeah,
I hear you.
Anybody else? On this? Anybody else on this?
So is that insert epoxied in or screwed in?
It's epoxied in. It would be very difficult, I think, to get the right tension. The 5/8 inch drill bit that I used was a perfect snug fit that could go in and be pulled out manually. To try to get that snug, I think, would be more of a challenge than it would be worth for their marketing efforts. I mean, it would be difficult. Some people could do it, but the average turner, it's much easier to get a fit with epoxy that will hold it and it won't come loose.
Sure.
They've got little grooves, you know, cut on the side. This on the prototype, they're kind of small, but on the larger one, they're deeper, so you get some mechanical fit with that epoxy.
And epoxy is great for gap filling.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Thanks very much, Mike. Good to see you. Let me go back to multi-speaker. Let me see who we got here. We got George and Bruce. George, what would you like to show us?
Okay, I'll show you something I turned about 40 years ago. It's been knocked about a little bit, but it's just a little pot.
Nice work.
With a bark edge. Didn't have chucks at the time, so I guess it must have been a faceplate.
And what's the wood?
Years ago, so.
What's the wood?
I have no idea.
Can we see the bottom?
There's no screw holes. There's no screw holes.
No, I turned it off without screw holes.
Nice piece.
And the other one is also about 40 years ago. This piece.
Let's see inside. And that goes all the way down?
Yeah, yeah.
And what's that for?
Just a vase for whatever.
Okay.
No, it's maple and walnut.
Wait, which one? Maple or walnut, or is it two woods?
The middle piece is walnut.
There's three pieces there. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were together.
Could you hold it back a bit so we can see the full profile? There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so that shadow that I'm seeing isn't the shadow at all. It's the glue line.
The glue line is right in the middle there.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Nice.
Very nice.
And they were tuned with the Stewart system. Now.
So now 40 years ago, if you were doing that again today, would you do it the same way?
No, probably not.
George?
No, I was at Richard Raffin was in Ontario in the 80s, I think, and he demonstrated with the Stewart system. So I bought that, and that's how I got into hollow tuning with the Stewart system. I still use it today.
Very nice.
George, do you have pictures of the wood before you started turning?
No, I had a camera before that, but not a digital camera. So.
They used to have to be in the, in a tent with a flash bulb.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you, George. Unless there's more comments. Any more comments?
I like that question, whoever asked that. I've often thought it would be wonderful to have a picture of every piece of wood I started with before I turned. I think I would be impressive to people who you could say, hey, here's what it was and here's what I made it,
Yeah, I have a few pieces like that.
I often do, because I very often draw around the block of wood right in my sketchbook before I turn it. I just plop the block down, draw around it, draw in that what I'm planning to do, whether it's a spindle or a bowl, and it's there. So I have it in that form.
No, I have a couple of pictures of pieces of firewood and then the completed project, basically.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. John, I would just, if I had the CAD program, I'd just scan the block of wood and then let the CAD program make me a vessel.
Yeah, and by the time you got your scanner out, I'm on the lathe. Bruce.
Well, I have gone down the deep, dark hole of power carving and not really liking feeling very much like a beginner again. But I've made a couple of pieces. Let's see.
Wow.
So this one is walnut, where I was shooting for kind of a heart shape, classic heart shape, with the carving in the middle. And
I can't see what's carved there. What's carved?
Right in the middle there.
Oh, the band.
There's a band where I burned the lines for the sides. Yeah, it is a little hard in the picture, I think, to see.
Have you got another picture, or shall I try and blow this up?
You can try. I'm not sure what you can do.
What it needs is light being lighter so we can see it. So
yeah, the second piece is an oak, and you'll see that much better.
Okay.
This one, though, also was kind of my first shot at doing a finial in olive. I wasn't sure it would hold together, but it did just fine, actually. I guess the grain is straight enough to get away with it.
No, I'm seeing this on my screen at 200%, and so that's what I can put on the recording. So I've got that bowl filled, the center part filling the screen, and I can see those are kind of like you've turned two bands, and between those or between those two V grooves, you've carved a whole lot of these little shapes, right?
Correct.
And the carving is with what? You're using, what are you using exactly?
I'm using a Foredom rotary tool with I think it's called an inverted cutter. To me, it looks like a classic Dremel disc almost, with a thin cutter that goes in. I played with a number of cutters to get the shape I wanted, and that seemed to work. You can see it much better, I think, on the other piece. Let me show you the other piece in oak.
Yes. Yeah. And are you doing like layout lines for that, or are you eyeballing it? What's your strategy?
So this one, I used the indexer on the lathe to lay out a pattern, because this one I inverted the angles of the cutting every so often. I think I used 12 segments, if I remember, around the piece that come out even. And then, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, and what's interesting is that I did this in water locks, and I thought it worked really well as the water locks filled the carving. It kind of gives it a nice look to it on the sides without having to get a little crazy about the finishing and the carving.
And did you burn in there, or why is it dark?
That's from 6 layers of water locks going into there.
So it's just like extra water locks down in the grooves.
Yeah, it just darkened it just beautiful. Well, I mean, it's rough, I guess, compared to the rest of the vessel. So you get a darker color.
But there's no dye in there or ink or anything like that.
No, this is completely natural. This was an oak tree that went down next door to me. It's a 100-plus-year-old oak, and it's some really nice patterns within the wood itself.
And does that finial remove? That's a lovely finial.
It does. Actually, there's a collar, and it removes right at this piece here. That pops off there, leaving the collar intact there.
Is the oak hollow?
Of course, yes.
So this is all hollow, like very hollow.
Quite hollow, yes.
And is there a purpose besides decorative for this thing? Is it to hold your pounce when you're writing with 18th century ink or something like that?
No, it's a classic kind of urn shape, but no, it is really meant to be decorative. And that's interesting as you talk about hollow, because that's one of the things I was concerned about with getting the thickness right. I didn't want to penetrate the vessel, although I've made some where actually I do penetrate the vessel, and sometimes that can be a good thing. But in most cases, I was trying to leave enough wood, particularly in the middle, so that didn't happen.
And when you said you went down the deep rabbit hole, is it a steep learning curve for you?
I found that, well, first of all, you put a lot of work into the piece, and then the last thing you want to do is mess it up with the carving at the end. So that's part of it. But I think, yes, and what I learned, of course, is different woods will carve very differently, and the same tool may penetrate it very differently. And there's such a whole host of tool shapes and sizes, and trying to understand what's going to give you an appropriate pattern is not so obvious.
Now, do you work it out on practice scrap wood before you hit the piece, or do you just go right at it and see what happens? What's your strategy?
I definitely tried some practice pieces, actually from the ends or the offcuts from the same piece of wood, so I would get the same kind of penetration and speed. But there's clearly a learning curve here.
What are the main things that go wrong?
Well, if you're not very careful, you can skate right out of the area that you're trying to carve and carve something you didn't want to carve, or you can carve, a wrong depth. I think the piece I'm trying, or the approach I'm trying to take, is to get a kind of uniform pattern across a piece, and I find that a little challenging. I do use Trent Bosch's fixture that he uses to hold pieces for carving, which helps a lot. I found it's not real practical for me to try and do this on the lathe. Oh, and I am left-handed, so that makes me want to carve, I guess, in the opposite direction that all the directions and things tell you to carve in. So, there are little things like that, is how do you carve in what direction as you move that cutter left to right or right to left, kind of like using a router, you're going to get a different effect. So again, it's just trial and error a lot here, but I'm getting there.
Do you know how to carve with hand tools?
I do not.
Because to me, that looks like something you could really readily do with a little V tool and a mallet. Chip, 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 chip.
Remember, the vessel's hollow too, so you got to be careful.
Well, then it's not chip, chip. It's.
Hey, Bruce, do you make those rings first or after you're done carving?
The rings.
The black lines on either side.
He's talking about the V groove that defines
the V groove
that separates the carving, that defines the edges.
That's the final step. I've sanded the vessel smooth, and then I do the carving. Is that what you're asking?
He's asking about the ring around, not the carve, but the incised V groove that goes all the way around the equator.
Oh, I do that on the lathe, yes, and then I burned those, I believe, in as well.
And then you carve.
And then I carve.
Okay, that was my question.
So I set those the spot exactly where I want it, and as you can hopefully I try and get it kind of where the curve inverts, and I think I was a little low on this one, perhaps.
Yeah,
but,
you are a tad low. Yeah.
Yeah, a tad low on this particular one, and then I lay out the pattern on the indexer while it's still on the lathe, and then I move it over to do the carving.
Any more questions for Bruce?
Bruce, I wonder what it would have looked like if you'd have moved it up drastically. I just wonder. It's just.
You mean up to the top shoulder?
Yeah, roll. Take that whole band up to almost to where the roundover starts. So.
Yeah. Well, that would look.
Yeah, it wasn't my intent to go that high, but I try to get. What's interesting is I've been playing with this heart shape vessel for a little bit now, and it doesn't. If you look at the classic heart forms, they don't obey the magic rules of thirds and such at all. It's actually much above that. And actually, it took me a while to understand that because I kept laying it out with my magic calipers and coming out wrong. So the distribution, as John is shaking his head, if you look at any of the classic forms, you'll see that it's actually a little different than that. It doesn't obey those rules.
Right, and it's finally down what's good to the eye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice work.
Thank you.
By the way, Bruce, I'm discovering that when you're photographing walnut, you got to go beyond what you see with your eye. You got to just make it brighter on the camera because you can't see it. You can't see the walnut on a picture. I would have. Yours is so beautiful on the first one. I want to see those details, but you have to really crank the brightness up. So,
I actually do, but you're right. It's a very dark piece. I think if you look on my Instagram feed, it probably looked lighter, but it's what it is.
You'll see it lighter, bigger and lighter on the recording because I enlarged it in the middle of the conversation there to 200% and looked really good.
That walnut is very dark. It's a naturally dried piece. And actually a lot of the hollow forms I make, I use wet wood. So you do get a darker piece than normal dried walnut.
Right. Okay, any more questions for Bruce?
No,
John,
just a comment. I love the finials. I thought they were great.
Yeah, Bruce is master of finials.
I'm no master, but I continue to experiment with the style.
Well, you got the most popular, the People's Choice Award at least once at the Mid-Atlantic for a piece with finials and beautiful wood figure.
I have, thank you.
Okay, John Chalikian, you're going to take us home today. Okay,
I just have an addendum to Mike's conversation about the tool handles. This is Doc Green's Fixtures in Chuck's book, excellent book. In here, he's got a description about making an oval handle.
2 dots
and
2 centers, yeah.
And that diameter looks to be about 1/4 of an inch, and the points are maybe 1/8 of an inch apart. So I have made one of these handles years ago, which is out in the shop. I can't show it, but it's a nice process. Just wanted to add this as another way to make your tool handles, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all.
That's it from you.
This book is a really good book. It's got great ideas about making all sorts of different ways to hold your wood. I highly recommend it. By Doc Green. That's it.
Okay.
Who's the author of that book?
Doc Green.
Doc Green. And it just happens to be by Fox Chapel, John's old company.
He has a website. Do a Google on Doc Green wood turning, and he's got some great articles. He's a retired physicist. I think this may be the only book on wood turning he's done, but he's published other stuff in his field before he retired.
Yeah, it's a brilliant book. I've made Longworth chucks from this.
Have you made a Longworth chuck that like with the spiral groove so it can adjust like without having to do the?
Yes.
Really? And you could make that like yourself and it worked out okay?
Yes. Yeah, all from his directions.
All right. Now you just sold me a book because I've been trying to figure out how to make one of those because I don't want to pay $250 for it. And yeah.
Yeah. No, that's just one of many different things he's got in here. It talks about jam chucks, all sorts of different things.
It's very comprehensive.
It's got 3 or 4 different kind of steadies. I think I suggested this to you one time. John, you were talking about for spindles.
That book's come around before. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
surprised I
Rest.
don't have a copy, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got, and so he describes all sorts of different things, and then there's various projects in here of different things that you can make for bowls and for spindle work. It's a very good book.
The book title again, hold it up one more time, John. I'm a little late getting it down on my notes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fixtures
Thank you.
and Chucks.
Fixtures and
for
Chucks.
Wood turning by Doc Green.
Thank you.
I didn't know if this is coming out correct.
And it's still in print, is it?
They don't generally let things go out of print very often, and reluctant as I am to give money to Fox Chapel, I'm probably going to have to buy that one.
I don't know where I may have bought this online. I also goes to a thrift book, and they have a lot of and there's probably 4 or 5 other different websites that have books that have gone out of print, and generally they're discounted.
Yeah,
discounted.
You can find it, no problem. Well,
Yeah.
y'all burned off another hour on Thursday morning. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. We've had we're at 46, 48 now. Can't read the number down there. 46, but we were 49 a little while ago. Thank you all. See you all next week.
See you next week.
John.
Thanks,
everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jim.
Take care.
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.